You are listening to the We Are West Ham podcast. It's me, Will Pugh, back just fresh. Well, I was going to say fresh after West Ham won, Tottenham won. Not too fresh, actually. Bumped into some old friends. Very much enjoyed what was a positive point. So a little bit groggy this morning. So fresh-ish from the 1-1 draw against Tottenham at London Stadium, literally just last night. That was. Delighted to say I'm joined by Dan Baylis from the Wolves 77 Club podcast ahead of Saturday's trip to Molineux in the Premier League. Dan, good to have you with us. Wolves just 3 points behind West Ham. You've got a 1 goal difference better than ours with a game in hand. The game on Saturday could prove quite pivotal in that weird sort of battle for either the last European spot or mid-table mediocrity.
Yeah, you're totally right. And I'm slightly worried about it, to be honest. I think the table speaks of what Wolves have been like this season. And there's been some real highs, but of late we haven't been at our best. We've lost 3 forwards to injury. Even the manager came out last night after the Burnley game and sort of made some remarks, probably pointed towards the ownership of the club, and that he'd sort of made it clear when he came in that if we lost forwards, we were in trouble and we were a bit thin. Wolves fans are on a bit of a low, to be honest. The Coventry game, I can't even talk about it. We sort of had our sights set on Wembley, and that was our season, and we were ramping up to that. To go and lose the way we did was just horrendous. Followed that up. Villa at the weekend, we were poor. Played some good football in periods, but didn't look like scoring, to be honest. We had a great chance, but didn't put it away. And you can just tell at the moment we haven't got that killer instinct. Burnley, we made Burnley look pretty good last night, and then had some chances in the second half, but didn't take full advantage of them, and it ended up at 1-1. I think we were better in the second half, and Cunha got pitched, managed to get himself 15, 20 minutes, which is great for Wolves fans to see. We're just a little bit shy up going forwards, and that's going to punish us probably now on the running.
Yeah, it's just strange one. I mean, drawing to Burnley, as Chelsea proved at the weekend, perhaps not quite as bad a result as one may think. They're certainly not the worst. Like the worst side. I know their form isn't great. We obviously only managed a draw with them at London Stadium not too long ago. There's something about them, isn't there? Is it sort of Wolves fans appreciating that, or was it a point earned by Burnley, or was it more of a 2 dropped by Wolves?
It was definitely a point earned by Wolves, to be honest. Jose Sarr, Wolves keeper, kept us in the game. He made 4 or 5 fantastic saves throughout the game. We missed a couple of chances, so maybe it could have swung back our way. But in the grand scheme of things, I'd see it if Wolves earned themselves a point from not particularly great performance with a few bright bits within it. We just can't afford to do that. If we want to push for 8th, much like West Ham, you've got to start picking up points there and winning those games. Saturday's a brilliant test for Wolves, with Cunha hopefully coming back and maybe pushing for a start or getting a bit more game time. You win this one and you sort of think, yeah, Wolves are still all right. But having watched the last couple of performances, I don't know.
It's peculiar, isn't it? Because I feel like I've had this conversation with you perhaps 2 or 3 seasons running, where at the beginning of the season, particularly with sort of a lot of chaos and stuff, and Gary O'Neill, to be fair, people are probably starting to see and appreciate his talents now, but it just felt like there wasn't much hope, there wasn't much hope or excitement, Shane. Perhaps not hope. I don't think anyone thought you were going to go down, but there certainly wasn't much expectation, certainly from the outside I'm talking here. And it feels like I have that with you a lot, this conversation, that then it turns out actually Wolves are a pretty decent package there, and they're doing some good things and they're doing some nice stuff. And to be 3 points behind us with a game in hand, and we've had, by all accounts, a super season according to most people who've got brains in their heads. So again, just sort of quietly going about your business, not really getting loads of credit. No one's talking about you too much, but I don't know. Is there a feeling of positivity among the fans, or is it just are you a bit deflated because it's straight off the back of a draw with Burnley?
Yeah, I mean, the positivity of the last sort of few months has been fantastic. I think when O'Neill came in, and especially when Lopetegui left, there was a real doom and gloom feeling, and a lot of sort of online Twitter, YouTube types like us.
Trolls.
Lot.
Yeah.
I know that did have Wolves tipped to go down. We were not particularly positive at the start of the season, and we didn't start that well. But then the performances grew and the goals came. And for the last few seasons, Wolves fans haven't seen a lot of goals from their side. And to have sort of Hwang, Cunha, and Neto all contributing, if it wasn't for the injuries, I think we would have cemented eighth and been a pretty decent side in a great position. It actually turns out the players we brought in that were cheaper have done a lot more. I think Mario Lemina, that's come in the middle for not a lot of money, superb.
Yeah.
Dawson, who we've obviously had from you guys, superb.
What
so
a
Wolves as a
player.
package,
Yeah.
Wolves as a package are great. It's just that we're a very thin squad and we had the financial fair play issues, but we've hopefully managed to avoid any sort of penalties. So it's a go again next season now. There is a positivity around the club again, but we need to see the owners back it in the summer.
Is that likely?
Wolves have gone from a yo-yo side. I don't know. I really don't know. I think with the sort of Chinese ownership, historically they'll say one thing then do another. But they seem to have been very cute with their spending and have done all the right things. So every time there's been a bit of a grumble, sort of saying, "Oh, they're not spending any money. Do they really care about us?" There has been a reason for doing it. They had a change of management, sort of behind the scenes with recruitment and management, technical sort of directors level, and they got rid of a guy that was awful, Scott Sellers. Fans absolutely despised him. They brought in a guy called Matt Hobbs, who seems to have connected with the fans and is doing a really good job of it. And especially with what we've brought in, it's been pretty good so far. So from a position of doom and gloom, I'm happy.
Yeah, it's just funny, isn't it? It's just strange how you seem to be doing. Gary O'Neill is another manager who I would consider, as I think David Moyes is like dragging the club, or of course helping them punch above their weight, almost like the weight of, be it the weight of expectation or the weight of your playing squad or the finances you got or the spending or lack of, to sort of be where you are and in the running for Europe seems to have been a sterling job. But we're in that same position, really. You mentioned squad depth. We've basically got 11 good players, and that's it. Or like 12 probably. I mean, Alvarez was injured against Tottenham. Suspended for 10 yellow cards. That was his second suspension, so he'll be back. He's a huge asset. James Ward-Prowse was his cover, who's obviously decent. But beyond that, after getting absolute pelters for the subs he made at Newcastle on the weekend, David Moyes, and the boys last night, he didn't make a single sub the whole game, I don't think. Just ran that 11 into the ground, which you don't often see these days, because it's just that there's no real sort of faith or ability to come off the bench. So it's like, don't get any injuries or suspension, because we get noticeably worse as soon as we miss one or certainly two
It's
players.
exactly what's happened to us. It's exactly what's happened. I mean, we played the left half at left wing last night, and he scored the goal. That's basically the crux of us at the moment. We've got no forwards, so we're just sort of roping in. We've had two literal kids out of the academy start centre forward in the last few games.
Yeah. Well, so looking ahead to the game then on Saturday 3:00 at Molineux. Dan, a bit of a chat around a few the West Ham supporters I was with at the game last night. Lots of them home and away fans, and a few of them, I seem to be one of the only one who'd ever seen us win a game at Molineux in about 2009, I think it was 2-0. But all the others were just sort of going, "Oh yeah, Wolves Saturday. Yeah, we never win at Wolves. Yeah, I'm going, but I can't really be bothered." How are you feeling about the game? Are you confident?
Do you know what? We're actually playing good football. I think if Cunha gets a decent run in and plays can start, if he's fit enough to start, then I think Wolves can do it. We've played really good football at times, but Dawson being out for a while, missing the three forwards, we just were a little bit at sea, especially against Villa. You could just sort of tell it was a sort of thrown together Wolves 11, and we weren't really in the game. And same again last night in spells, but we play better at Molineux. 3 o'clock Saturday will help us, I feel. I think it'll be a cagey affair. It won't be like the usual thing where we beat you 3-0 at our pace and then you beat us 3-0 at yours. So
yeah.
it's I think it'll be a lower scoring affair, but I don't know. I've got to be optimistic because I've got to have something to smile about this season after the FA Cup.
So what do you expect style-wise then? Because as everyone is under no illusion, David Moyes is happy to let the opposition have the ball. We saw a similar sort of thing against Tottenham. Hopefully Mikel Antonio's got his breath back by Saturday because he looked absolutely out on his feet by the end of the game. So it'll be the same again from West Ham. Let you have the ball, sort of sit back, try and hit you on the counter. Everyone knows it's coming, but it's not always that easy to stop. What do you expect from Wolves? How will you approach the game style wise?
We like to play in a similar sort of fashion. I think our best performances have been when we've played in the break. I mean, we demolished Chelsea at their place playing that exact style of football. That's how we don't tend to perform well against, not that West Ham are, but teams lower down the division that come and let us have the ball. We don't tend to perform as well. So
neither do we. Yeah, we're the exact
same. An interesting one.
Yeah.
It's just like if Dawson is fit again, which I'm not sure he is. I don't think he is.
How's he getting on now, Craig? Because
we just looked a bit light. We were just.
I don't think I've ever loved anyone as much as Craig Dawson.
He's been absolutely brilliant. Him and Kilman at the back when they play together, Wolves. The problems have come in the last few weeks where we've had to chop and change it because of injuries. We got done over the back by a deep cross against Burnley, and you can see that we are fallible to getting caught on the break. You know, a ball over the top that bounces just in front of the back four, and everyone inside Molineux sort of goes. So that's where West Ham. We know Antonio's a strong player.
You mentioned your squad's a bit thin, then Dan. What are you expecting before I get a score prediction off you and let you go? What are you predicting, sort of like starting lineup? Who are you expecting to play?
Could be anything depending on fitness. At the back, it'll probably be Totti, Kilman, and on either wing, God, it could be anything. Really could. In the middle, it'll be Gomez and Lamina will hold it down.
Yeah.
And up top, I'd probably start Aït-Nouri on the left wing again because he looked good. Hopefully, Cunha's fit to start up top and Sarabia on the other side. But it's just Wang Neto and such big misses. There could be a kid thrown in there that they've just gone and picked off the under-15s training pitch.
Sounds like you might get a game if you bring your boots, mate. Listen, Dan, it's always great having you with us on the We Are West Ham podcast, dialing in as you always do from your central London construction sites. Just give us a score prediction then. Saturday, 3 o'clock. It's a big game for Wolves. Just quickly, sorry, before you do that, who's your game in hand against?
Ooh, that's a good question. If you'd asked me that before, I was prepped to find out.
No, I'm just thinking.
It's because we had the FA Cup game, so I'm trying to think who it is.
I'm just wondering if it's likely to be a winnable one or not. Yeah,
it's Bournemouth, I think, from memory.
That's not great. So, look, I mean, you know, if we don't get a result at the weekend, we're very much there for the taking. Your goal difference slightly better than ours. That's a winnable game for you, I suppose, in Bournemouth. Certainly not a guaranteed defeat as some of them in the Premier League are these days. So, yeah, pressure on West Ham to get the win. But what's your score prediction? Saturday, 3 o'clock, Molineux, Wolves v West Ham.
I'm going to be optimistic and go with the 2-1 Wolves. Hopefully we get one in the first half, and that means West Ham have to come out a little bit. But I could easily see it just being a 1-1 draw. That's what my money would be on. But optimistically, I'll go 2-1 Wolves.
Yeah. It just screams one of those games where, it it's going to be won by one team, 1-0. I think. Like, I think that, or a 1-0, like you said. I think a point away from home. We've got Leverkusen in the week away after that. I'm pretty sure, that David Moyes would take a point immediately, as would I. To be fair, an away point at Wolves, not the worst result in the world. But yeah, for our league hopes, I think there'll be fans desperate for a win more so. But Dan Baylis there from the Wolves 77 Club. Thanks so much for joining us on the We Are West Ham podcast once again. Thanks to you guys for listening. Me and James will hopefully catch up with you later this week, but we just thought we'd get the opposition view out for you nice and quickly. Thanks for listening, everyone. Up the Hammers, West Ham are massive, and we'll speak to you next week.